Good morning, Infinity. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Rev Jeff is in the place today, and I am absolutely here, and we are being seen. We are being heard. I'm grateful for everybody here. I love it. I love it. It's absolutely in there. Listen, good morning, y'all. Reverend Jeff Obafemi Carr, also known as Rev Jeff, here today. And we are getting ready to begin the Infinity Fellowship. This is IFTeaches Sunday. Third Sunday is when you get a chance to participate in the service through the many elements of the service, but particularly through the Sunday message. So make sure that you get your journal ready. You get everything that you need to get prepared. We're welcoming you into the space today. It is a wonderful day to be here on a beautiful, beautiful day. Tomorrow is what many people celebrate as St. Patrick's Day. Today is what many people celebrate as St. Urho's Day. So yes, we want to wish you happy St. Urho's Day to all of those who celebrate. But we're glad that you're joining us. We want you to say hello in the chat. We want you to greet one another in love and in peace and in power. And we want you to know that we are absolutely excited that you are here exactly where you're supposed to be. We'll see you in just a minute as we open the way for the Infinity Fellowship. Love you. Good morning, Infinity. Welcome to the Infinity Fellowship. Hey, everybody. To all my tech crew, I'm glad everybody is here. I'm glad that you are joining us from home. I'm glad to see that you're already saying hello to one another inside the chat. What a wonderful moment. What a wonderful day. Today is the day that the God of your acceptance and understanding has made. It is a moment to rejoice, to be glad in it. We want to welcome you to the Infinity Fellowship. Those of you who are brand new, we get to say hello to you in just a few moments. For those of you who are return lovers of life and part of the Infinite Life Stream, we welcome you back to the Infinity Fellowship today. Today is IFTeaches. It's a remarkable moment for us to share and to grow. And we want to get this started in fellowship by opening the way to divine source and spirit. So I invite you into a brief moment of meditation, so that we can align ourselves with the breath. In aligning ourselves with the breath, we are saying to the universe, we are here, we are available, we are accessible, we are aware. And so it is. Inhale and let it go. Inhale and let it go. Inhale and let it go. Continue to breathe something like this. As we ring the chime of the singing bowl, we are speaking alignment. Alignment for this breath in this animated body as we give thanks for being present today. Invite yourself into this beneficial stillness, inhaling and exhaling. Consciously adding to this practice of breathing the closing of the eyes from top to bottom. Inhaling the good. Exhaling the things we no longer need, the things that no longer serve us. Inhaling and exhaling, experiencing the energy of the divine. And from this space of centeredness, of wholeness, of knowing that all is well, we invite, as all eyes are now closed, all heads to be bowed, and all hearts to be open, as we now turn our thoughts, our attention, our energy toward that of the divine, the higher power that you may refer to as divine source, we may refer to as universe, uni, God, Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, Jesus, Olodumare, all of these magnificent names for a magnificent energy that has us centered in this place today for celebration, for worship, for fellowship, for community. Divine Source, as we are now standing and seated in your presence, we are aware that the kingdom/queendom does not lie without, it lies within. And so from this space of within, we recognize your presence with us today, and that presence makes us grateful. We are so thankful today that we are able to gather here through this infinite life stream. We are so thankful that we are able to gather people together across the religious lines, across the spiritual lines, across the societal and socioeconomic lines to be in community together, to continue this pursuit of divine purpose, to continue this path of healing. Healing of relationships in our lives, healing of families in our lives, healing of generations before and in front of us in our lives. And for this healing, we are grateful in advance. We know that you have the infinite power to shape, mold, and birth everything that comes into our consciousness. And so instead of focusing on the things that we do not have today, we're starting out today in gratitude for the things that we do have. Thank you for our health. Thank you for our breath. Thank you for our minds, for our consciousness. Thank you for this community. Thank you for the dreams that are placed on our table and our plate to accomplish. And thank you for the gift that you've given us to be little C creators to your big C. For creation is about the thought, it is about the spoken word, it is about navigating the chaos, it is about embracing the order, and we embrace the order today. We embrace this order of service, we embrace this order of living, we embrace this way of knowing that we get to control the frequency vibration that we put into the world. And so we put good into the world right now. We speak that those who are listening are awakened brand new, that those who are listening are sprung into action today on something that they were appointed to do and anointed to do in this thing we call reality. We speak that the voices that sing today will be covered, that they will be connected by you and with you. We speak that all of our technology aligns in a way that brings this spiritual experience together around the world. We speak that someone will be inspired today by the service to continue to kick their head up, to put their head up toward the sky and keep on moving toward the mark, toward the prize. And so we give thanks in this space today for the families that are represented here. We send our energy of infinity out to the Kimbrough family in the transition of our elder, Dr. Charles Kimbrough. What an amazing celebration at Spruce Street Church yesterday. In the midst of a storm, a line of people out the door to celebrate this giant's contribution to civil rights in Nashville and beyond. We send this energy out to the energy of Brother Harold Thompson and the Thompson family here in Nashville. And as we speak their names aloud, they know that they are infinitely and forevermore a part of the love that emanates from this space we call the Infinity Center. And so as we are grateful today, as we are sending this love today, we speak that if there is a heart that is feeling alone right now, if there is a mind that is feeling troubled, that they recognize that this is a space where they can find healing, where they can absorb a meal of spiritual food. And we speak that they will be full to overflowing and that they know that they did not arrive here by happenstance, but everything is aligning for our good. We speak and know these things to be true, and we speak it as such, and so it is. Let us say together, Amen, Amen, Hotep, Shalom, Namaste, Ashe. It is done, and so it is. Let us prepare for our pouring of libations. As we prepare to pour our water today, we recognize that we pour into the earth because water represents those of us who are in the living space, at least the perceptual reality. The earth represents what happens when we no longer can use these earth suits, and so they go back from whence they came. And they came and flora and fauna and all of the wonderful scientific processes of development, composition and decomposition. The reality is energy is not created or destroyed. It only changes form. And so we pour libations today, and as we pour this water, we recognize that we stand on the shoulders of giants who came before us. They are the ancestors. They are the Sheps. They are the Shepsut. They are the Egun and Egungun. They are the angels. They are those who are always watching us, who continue to provide, even in low moments, through their memory, the wind beneath our wings. And so as we pour today, we want to pour and say, cool water, freshen our spirits, ashe. Freshen and consecrate this space for spiritual work, ashe. Freshen our collective ancestors all together, ashe. We give praise to Almighty Mother, Father God, Divine Source, and all creation, ashe. Do grant to us through this pouring peace and prosperity, ashe. And we pour today to the cardinal directions of the north, where we commit to be a yes today. However we got here, let's show up full. Let's show up present. Let's show up ready. Let's show up aware. Ashe. We pour to the energies of the south in recognition of who we are and whose we are. Ashe. To the energy of the rising sun in the east. It may not have seemed like it last night because Nashville, it was storming. And those storms are raging in our lives. But we also know that when we recognize who we are and whose we are, we stay solid. And we recognize that today is a new day. So the sun is out, y'all. And as the sun is out, as it's shining, you have an opportunity to be out too. Get out there and do what you were born to do. Ashe. To the energy of the west, when the sun goes down, we still get light by the moon and stars. Whatever may be going on for you, this may be the moment for you. This may be the service. This may be what you clicked on. But whatever happens and whatever that moment is for you, know that even in the darkest of times, there will be a light to guide your path. Ashe. From those four directions, we had a fifth direction, and that is the ground below us, that we are grounded in a way that when the storm may come, as it has across the United States the last couple of days, we may be blown side to side, we may bend, but it is always better to bend than it is to break. Ashe. To the sky above us, the open space of possibility, where we allow our mind to, as Langston Hughes remind us, wonder as we wander. We create things from those ideas and bring them into manifest reality. Ashe. To the seventh direction, the energy that brings it all together, we call it Grand Central Station. It is right at the center point of all the seven directions, and it's in your body and it's in mine. I know because we're here talking. That means your heart is beating, and that is the space of the heart. Anahata is what it's called. And when we put our hands at prayer at our heart, we are saying that we speak that our hearts be as light as a feather in the tradition of Ma'at. Ashe. From this moment, we want you to call aloud the names of those ancestors you want to recognize. We want to pour a special recognition today to the spirit of Brother Harold Thompson. Ashe. For those of you who don't know or may not remember, Brother Harold Thompson was a trailblazing architect here in the city of Nashville. Worked with the McKissick and McKissick firm, which is a globally known African-American firm that built many campuses that you see around here in Nashville and many other office buildings and residential homes. He moved from there to start his own firm. And even when he was semi-retired, even when he was dealing with several years ago, moving through battles with cancer, it did not stop him from providing assistance in the world to those in need, particularly this community here. When I approached Brother Thompson and said, hey, Brother Thompson, we were going to turn a house, a former residence, into a church fellowship space for infinity. He didn't say, what? He said, let me look at the space. Brother Thompson came in here, looked at the space, said okay, went back, did some drawings. We worked along with several other folks who were contributing to the process, and that process produced a list. And from that list, Brother Thompson put together the plans for this building. So when you walk in Infinity Center, you're walking in the mind, in the open space of Brother Harold Thompson. So shout out to the Thompson family. It was a delight to find out years ago that he was also a fraternity brother. So we're going to do the fraternity ritual for Brother Thompson this afternoon. So we're excited and we're grateful. And so we pour Ashe. In this moment, we ask that you call aloud the names of those you want to recognize in this moment as we pour these next few pours of water. And finally, we pour and speak for the children in the womb, in the world, and yet unborn. We say together around the world, Ashe, 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 oh, it is done, and so it is. We're now going to ask that we go through our statement of infinitude. It's a wonderful moment, and we're so excited because we have to bring us our statement of infinitude, none other than Lady Kanitha Carr. Y'all give it up.
Well, good morning, Infinity. So, greetings. I am Lady Kanitha Carr, and I'm pleased always to welcome you to the Infinity Fellowship. And don't forget, we like to pause to remind you of the four core principles of this gathering. We call it SNAP. It's important to us, the SNAP. So, the S in SNAP is for spirituality that transcends religion and connects you to the God of your own understanding. The N in SNAP is for nurturing of ourselves and others, mind, body, and spirit. The A is for action because we take action on our callings and walk in our divine purpose every day. And finally, the P is for the proof that our spiritual practices manifest fruit in our lives through the building and maintaining of healthy and prosperous families, relationships, careers, and dreams. And so we are so grateful that you all are here as unique manifestations of our Creator, the loving, living spirit of our commonality, the divine source of all creation, perceived by many names, yet known by only one energy. See, this is the foundational practice of true interspirituality, where all are affirmed in love energy. And so, guess what? I invite you all at home, and if you are able to stand with me and join me in our wonderful statement of infinitude. We agree that we are beings of pure, eternal spirit, birthed from the creative potential of the universe, with all the powers of the Creator inherent within us. We embrace the innate goodness of humankind and an abundant creation that provides for us through the seeds that we plant in our everyday lives. We acknowledge that who we are is housed in a temporary biological organism, and as such, it is our responsibility to take care of it because it will only last for a precious window of time. As we nurture ourselves spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. We commit to provide like acts of nurturing for our fellow brothers and sisters of the world we live in, embracing all regardless of religious faith, skin color, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic background. All are truly welcome at infinity. We agree and accept that various religions exist as a unique opportunity for humanity to get to know one another through meaningful conversations that seek to explore the core concepts we share in common. It is the application of ancient wisdom, scientific discovery, and spiritual practices, both physical and metaphysical, that will lead us closer together as a human family. We commit to exist now and ever as a beloved community. Let it be so according to the many ancient terms of affirmation. Amen.
Amen.
Amin.
Amen.
Hotep.
Hotep.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Ashe.
Ashe. I answered that. Ashe. Ashe. Oh. Ganita did that disappearing act. I love. She said, "Yeah, oh, power. It's magic. It's magic. It's magic." I love it, y'all. So as we are here in place today, we want to make sure that we continue to share this gratitude that we have today. And we are going to do that by celebrating in gratitude. We want to generate gratitude in this place today. And as we generate gratitude, we want you to see what's on the screen, and it tells you how we do it. It says, "My name is, and I am grateful for." This is how we celebrate with a celebration of gratitude chain. So we're going to invite you to just put that in your consciousness. My name is, I am grateful for. And then we want you to act. Actually, Infinite Life Streamers, this is what we do third Sunday, y'all. So if you've got one thing that you're grateful for, if you've got one single solitary thing that you can say, hey, today I got up and I experienced this. Yesterday, this happened for my family. In this moment, I realized that this is good, no matter how small it is. We want you to share it this time as we sing good morning to you. And as we sing good morning to you, we want to have you feel that sentiment, because that energy is very strong in this place, and it's a gratitude chain. So let's celebrate that energy. Let's bring it on in there. We're going to crank it on up, and we're going to say good morning to you. So wherever you are in the world, let's hear what you're grateful for. One thing that you're grateful for. Come on and let's do it. Good morning.
A good morning to you. A good morning to you. A good morning to you. Good morning to you. And we say a da 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 da, a da 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 da, a da 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 da. Hey, good morning to you. Good morning to you. A good morning to you. Good morning to you. All right, let's get that energy going. What are we typing in the chat? What are we saying to each other? It is a good morning. What are you grateful for? All my kiddos, if you're watching, go ahead and type in the things that you're grateful for too. This is that time. Say, hey, da 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 da. Hey, good morning to you. 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 Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you, Lady Kanitha. Led us through that. Nice and joyful. Looking mighty awesome there. Would you call that pink or pink? I'm what? I'm spiffy. Did you all hear that? I'm nice and spiffy. For some reason, I don't know why. Spiffy sounds better with the British accent. I'm nice and spiffy today. Well, thank you. Lady Kanitha says that I am spiffy, so for that I am grateful. Since St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow, they say, "It's a little bit spiffy today. Looking a little spiffy." I thank me lucky charms that I'm spiffy today. But I'll take it. We'll take it. Everybody's looking good. Listen, great to see everybody in there. Grateful for life coming through. Grateful. Listen, praise report. And we got standing ovation form. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this in the gratitude chain because my brother, Richard Griffin, is in the chat today, and the Griffin family is in the chat today. For those of you who follow us online, y'all know that last week, Brother Randy, our brother, was missing, had a health crisis, and went missing in East Tennessee. We put some pictures up on Facebook, and everybody was just praying. And we said it like last week. Everybody was talking and said, "Hey, we're speaking a full return. We didn't beg for it. We didn't hope for it. We proclaimed it because we know we have that power to connect with the God of our acceptance and understanding and say it is so." And we spoke it as so. So we're very happy to report. And Brother Rick is in the chat saying, "I'm grateful that my brother Randy that went missing was found after 3 days. He has a long struggle ahead, but he is alive." And Brother Rick, Brother Randy, you got a struggle ahead, but you don't have a struggle by yourself. How about you got connection to that which is, was, and ever shall be, and you have community here that is always going to speak into you and love into you. So listen, you let Randy know we got him. So everybody here, listen, when people say we don't know what we're going to do, guess what? God knew it was going to happen, and the universe aligned it. So great to have that reunion. What a moment of gratitude to celebrate. Sister Christine is grateful for life. Sister Thea Jones Ortega Brown is good morning. Grateful for a generally peaceful week and opportunities to bask in the sunshine. Come on. Taylor is grateful for my hair. I like it. I like it. All right, Taylor. Talia is grateful for life. We love it. We are seeing you in the chat, and just continue to say hello today and continue to let us know what is working for you. Continue to be a part of the energy in here. Listen, at this moment, I want to welcome those first timers to Infinity Fellowship. So if you're a first timer at Infinity, I want you to go ahead and hit the button that says first timer, or just say there's not a button. You have to actually type first time. So type first time in the chat. And then anybody who has been here before, or if you're new too, say, "Hey, welcome to Infinity." Give them a love heart. Give them a thumbs up. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up button on YouTube. Hit that subscribe if you're on Facebook. Hit that share or that reacts button if you're watching us on that platform as well. This is where we welcome you. And we have a form for you and a QR code. So we invite you to check out your screen. And to check out your chat box as well. There's a link to a form that you can fill out. It is a welcome form, welcome to Infinity. And it gives us an opportunity to get to know you, to send you a card, and to let you know that when we see you in person, hopefully one day on First Sunday, we can welcome you in grand Infinity style. So for now, just scan the QR code or click the link that is in the chat. You can click it now or scan it after service. Sometimes you're watching us on your phone, and others are watching us on YouTube or on TV, whatever it may be. But we invite you to go ahead and scan that QR code so that we can connect with you. Take a deep breath here and let it go. I get to welcome you in this moment if you're a first timer. If you've been here before, I get to welcome you and just say thank you for joining us today. It's a wonderful and remarkable moment. You are not here by accident. This is the Infinity Fellowship. We are an independent, interspiritual community. So we are for seekers of divine wisdom who are here building community, who may be spiritual but not always religious, not necessarily. But again, we find community together. So thank you for showing up today. We like to say a special welcome to you. We like to let you know that this may be your first time at Infinity, but we know exactly who, what, where, when, and why you are. First and foremost, you're not just a human being who showed up to have a spiritual experience. It's the other way around. You're a spirit who is navigating the human experience just like the rest of us. So we invite you to put your hands up to the screen. Open your palms if you're receiving this. You can say this back with us. It's people who are here in the space are going to say it back with me, but they're going to repeat after me, and this is how we welcome you at Infinity. I see you, but you don't hear me though. I really see the real you. I see who you are. You are a divine manifestation of God's creation. I see what you are. You are a spirit. You're more than what's on the outside. You're a gift to me and to the entire world. I see where you are. You're right here in front of me, where I can let you know, if no one else will, that you're not alone. I'm with you, we're with you, and you are at home. I see when you are. You're in the right now, baby. You are so much more than your yesterday. I see why you are. You're here to learn, to grow, to embrace your dreams, and to celebrate your divine destiny. I know all this because I'm here to do the same thing. So we're going to help each other out. All right? I see the real you, and I know the real you, and I see you shining today, and I feel you shining today, and I know you're shining today. So welcome to Infinity. Welcome home. I say, oh, we're going to hit a little music so you can get up and dance and scan that QR code. Hey, you can get up and dance, scan that QR code. Come on. Hey, scan the code. Scan the code. Hey, just scan the code. Scan the code. Hey, scan the code. Scan the code. Scan the code. Hey. Scan the code, scan the code, scan the code, hey! Scan the code, scan the code. What? You talking about I can't do too much? Are you kidding me? I can go in a suit now. It doesn't matter the clothes for me. I could do it all. This is what when I was in college, we used to wear suits when we stepped. That's how alphas used to step. You know, that's how we do it. You all, we're excited again that you joined us here at Infinity Fellowship. We're also excited that this is the part of the service that you get to participate in fully. This is when we do our offering. Snap, 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 snap. This is when we pour back into the place that is providing us with spiritual food. And as you know, we're excited to be givers at Infinity Fellowship. We practice in action the manifestation practices of the law of attraction. Your vibe attracts your tribe. You control the frequency of your vibration, and thoughts become things. So we are speaking in this moment that as you are preparing your Cash App, as you are preparing your PayPal, as you are preparing your snail mail, whatever you're preparing to give, as you are preparing your device for giving, we want you to remind yourself always that giving is a part of spiritual practice. It is a mindset. It is a mindset of saying that I live and walk in abundance, and I trust. And I trust in this energy. And because I trust in this energy, I want to be aligned with abundance, and I want to be aligned with the flow. I don't want to be aligned with lack. Somebody in the chat box say that. I don't want to be aligned with lack. And all I need is one person to say it because I don't want to see lack all in there. Lack. No, 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 no. I am abundance. I am abundance. I am abundance. Everybody else who's in that chat, I am abundance. I am abundance, so that people can see and know that that's what we're doing here. That's why we are growing. That's why we are expanding. That's why we are bringing the future of a spirituality into the present. That's why we are building community in a way that gives us physical spaces to gather in, virtual spaces to be reassured in, and it all comes together in a moment like this. That's how powerful and delightful giving is. Take a deep breath here. Exhale, release. Now, I want you to get your device that you use for giving, whatever that device is. And I want you to hold that device. And I want you to think about the energy that you want to put into the world as you call your favorite giving platform up. We'll put a slide up in a minute for you to have to know how to give directly to infinity. But we want to charge that energy by recognizing that everything is good. That's what we're going to sing when we're doing our offering. But even as we are singing, as we're doing the offering, we want to supercharge it with our offertory affirmation. So I'm going to call your attention to the screen, and we're going to read together our offertory affirmation with energy. O limitless, abundant Creator, source of everything I possess, you have given me the gifts of life, breath, and creativity. You continue to provide for me without judgment or preference, and so I freely return these gifts to you with my whole heart, mind, and intention, knowing that as I give freely with both remembrance and gratitude, the circle of abundance will be unbroken, and so it is. Yes, everything is good, y'all. Yes. There's a slide. We're going to leave that up for a minute so that you can give as you sing with us.
Ooh, everything is good.
Yeah.
Everything is good. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, yeah. Everything is good. Everything is good. Yes, it is. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. Yes, it is. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, go ahead and tell yourself everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. Yes, it is. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. Yes, it is. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Go ahead and remind yourself everything is good. Everything is good. Yes, it is. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Oh, I've got it good. I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Oh, you've got it good. I've got it. Hey, I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. You've got it good. Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Lady Kanitha took us in there, y'all. Took us in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know, if you've experienced that energy at Infinity Fellowship, you know that you've got it good, that we've got it good, and that is a part and parcel of how things continue to grow in our life. We see no need other than to look within and to see what you've experienced through Infinity to say we have found the proof that this thing is working right. So, yes, y'all, thank you. I am abundance. I see it in the chat. I'm looking forward to seeing a few more things in the chat as well as we move into preparing for today's download. We want to say that this is your opportunity to put in a standing ovation. A standing ovation is something great that has happened for you over the last week or so. I know I've got one left over from last week that I got to get in. I want to make sure that I pull that one up. But listen, we have a QR code that you can scan for your standing ovation. I want to go ahead and put that into the chat. There's a jot form that you fill out there. You can also look at the standing ovation form that is on your screen right now. I think we have a QR code that we can pull up that allow you to get that standing ovation in. So by all means, go ahead and get that standing ovation in right there. Touch that little QR code so we can get you in. We want to be able to cover you. Why? Because our next standing ovation will come not next week, but week after. On Yoga Sunday, we do yoga. So we don't do standing ovations on Yoga Sunday. But of course, we do it throughout the week. We gather them and then we announce them on our Sundays. This month we have 5 Sundays, so we got a special energy that's coming up at our 5th Sunday that we want to invite you to be a part of as well. So standing ovation is something good that has happened to you that we can shout you out for, that as a result of your spiritual practice, you're seeing things manifest. So go ahead and fill that in. First, I want to welcome you today to March, the 3rd month in the year of divine development. Da, 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 da. And yes, as you see on our screen there, we are in the year of divine development where we are powered by love, guided by vision. Let's say that together. I am powered by love and guided by vision. Somebody in the chat is going to type that in just to affirm today that you are powered by love and guided by vision. So somebody put that on in there. I am powered by love and guided by vision. Every single day when you get up, every single moment, you remind yourself of that. That is going to continue to power us. And as we continue to move through, we also know that this month, March, has been all about forward ever, backward never. We are not going backward. Nothing can go backward. Time travel backward is impossible. More on that later, but time travel forward is not impossible. That's why we're going to go forward ever and backward never. Every single Sunday is going to be a service, is going to be a message, a download that is centered around helping you to make the progress that you want to experience in your life, helping you to find the growth that you want to experience in your life. That is what we are doing here. So get your journals ready. If you don't have them ready, I want you to be ready for a phenomenal download today that is just for you so that you can understand what Spirit has to say for you working on your goals. We want to remind you that we have a volunteer day coming up Saturday, March 22nd. We are returning to the scene of the good, and that is Second Harvest Food Bank. We've done a lot of great work over the years at Second Harvest Food Bank. So if you are in the city, if you are around the city, we're going to invite you to be a part of this movement, be a part of this volunteer day. And we're going to invite you to do so by scanning that QR code and signing up. I believe we can take up to 20. Okay, we've got 12 slots left, y'all. We've only got 12 slots left. You can bring your 12-year-old and up young person. You'll just have to sign a waiver form. Make sure that you hit that. It's going to be a fun time. We will give you instructions. Details will be on their way once you sign up at the QR code. Sometimes we wear jackets because sometimes we are in the cooler oblongata, and sometimes we are in the larger warehouse, but we pack, we rock, and we help feed Middle Tennessee families. That's what we do at Infinity. So sign up for that and join us in that. We also want to remind you that next week is Yoga Sunday. Yoga Sunday. We're going to be moving. We're going to be grooving. We're going to have a great time. And I want to congratulate everyone who has decided that, you know, there's a reason why we're doing this thing called Yoga Sunday. And it's not just so that we can take a week off from our spiritual practice. It is so that we can take a week on in our spiritual practice. We are moving forward with healthy bodies, with healthy minds and spirits. That's what life is about. That's what infinity is about. All right. So I am pleased to be able to lead this, to bring in guests who lead us in this year, so that we get our yoga practice up. Yoga is for all people, all levels, all body shapes, all body types. That is what Yoga Sunday is about. We want you to experience prosperity and abundance in a healthy body, healthy relationships, work that is fun for you, working on divine purpose, and of course, having the resources that you'd like to move through this world with. We also not going to leave the body behind. So if you're hearing me for the first time and you hadn't tried Yoga Sunday yet, come on. We're not going to leave your body behind because we need you around here to help heal these next generations. A reminder that we do meet in person on first Sundays. So make your plans to join us for the first Sunday in April. And also, as Lady Kenitha reminds us, make your plans to join us on the third Sunday in April, which is Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. We're going to be playing on the 20th. We're going to have, I almost said costume. It's not costume. That's Halloween. We're going to have outfit, best dressed parade. So get your best clothes on. We're going to have a good time in there. Potluck. We're going to have food. So 2 times in April. But second, third, and fourth Sunday, we do meet virtually. I want to remind you also that during the week, we have a phenomenal conversation that goes on in the Band app. If you joined Infinity Fellowship and done your membership orientation, you got your access to the Band app, and you're having a great time having conversations on Wednesday night with this awesome couple, Tyrell and Tashana Lindsley, who host this all the way from Warner Robins, Georgia. It is a virtual conversation, but you never know it because it is so seamlessly beautiful. So we invite you every Wednesday at 7 p.m., and I mean, in true Infinity tradition, they are on time. And that conversation gets going, and it's so deep, so powerful. They go through the lessons that we learn on Sundays and reinforce them, and then everybody has a chance to have a conversation. So with that, we want to let you know that it's time for Standing Ovation.
Choose your vibration to a high elevation. It's time for the good news, our standing ovation.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, you feeling churchy today. You come on now.
Our high energy.
Denise was up here.
Well, you got the suit on. That even I'm like, look,
Oh, okay.
that
Well,
you got the Baptist.
I can get to hollering without being in a suit. I guess I'm just going to have to. I
You
got
look
suits
so
at home. Y'all
nice.
know. I just, okay.
You know me.
Why does Infinity make a big deal when I wear a suit? I
Nice
guess.
alpha man. Look at
Okay.
the alpha.
Okay. All right. Okay. we
That's
got
all
you.
right. Listen, our high energy at IF comes from our practice of snap. It is why we snap our fingers during this part of the service. We receive practical lessons and tools for our individual journeys as spirituality. We
Yes.
fellowship with like-minded spirits every week. That is nurturing. And we take what we learn and apply it in our lives, and that's action. And so if we do these, then every week we see examples of that progress in our lives. So let us pause to enjoy. And again, it's a collective moment of manifestation and expansion. So when your name is called, if you would like to stand at home or wherever you are, please
Go on,
stand,
stand up.
as we read your ovation. We will snap our fingers after we finish reading. And at the
Yes.
very end, we all get to participate in a collective standing ovation. Yes.
Ooh, yes. I want to make sure that I get. Okay, good. I've got a standing ovation. I want to start reading again. If you've got maybe 30 seconds, and hopefully I can catch it in. We had a couple people last week who kind of missed the threshold,
It's just
so
a
it came
delay.
as a slight delay, which is technology. You know, we get angry that we don't get there fast enough. We have a 90-minute flight where we get to fly hundreds of miles sitting in a lounge chair. and touch down as opposed to getting in a car and driving 12 hours. And we do get the nerve to complain about how fast or how slow things are. But that's the nature of the human mind. But we also know that it's still a blessing to be able to get your standing ovation in on time. This goes to Jamil Paulin. Brother Jamil, good to have you. I hope you're back on today as well. Jamil, I have been invited to contribute a chapter to a forthcoming handbook on Afrofuturism, edited by Dr. Ronaldo Anderson.
Oh my
The
goodness.
chapter I just turned in is called The Computer and the Talking Drum, an Afrofuturist vision of human computer interaction.
Woo!
Come on, Jamil, come on now.
Woo! Come on with that.
Come on with the power.
Woo, woo, woo,
I'm
woo.
gonna read that. I'm gonna read that
Yes.
title again for
Please.
those in the back who needs to hear. The chapter that Jamil is
I
putting
love
out
that.
is The Computer and the Talking Drum, an Afrofuturist vision of human computer interaction. Man. I can't wait. Make sure that you let us know
Goodness.
where we can find it and when to pick
Yes.
it up because it is that time for us to do it.
Congratulations.
Next standing ovation, congratulations goes to Taylor Lindsley.
Taylor.
I was selected from my school choir to be in the 5th grade honors chorus, and we had our first performance at Veterans High School on Saturday. It went really well, and my best friend came to watch.
Oh.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we've got one coming in from Dr. Justin Redding. Good to see you, Redding. Redding's has, since COVID, just so many
I
great
know,
things
Dr.
to know you and your wife, man, and to
Yes,
just
and
be able to
beautiful
celebrate with you
baby.
and beautiful baby. Speaking of baby,
Yes.
we know the baby was on the way. The standing ovation is our son, Uriel Indorkle Kofi Redding, was born a few weeks ago. He is perfectly healthy and the most beautiful baby. My wife has made a full recovery. We are blessed. Come on. Oh, we love it.
Oh, yay.
See, this is why we
What
got
a
to get some satellite
journey.
locations. Exactly.
Uh-huh.
We've stood in this
Oh,
place,
such a
Justin, and
blessing.
performed those naming
Such a
ceremonies for our young babies that have come through
blessing.
infinity. So just
Yes.
know that we are speaking
Yes,
all of the
yes,
blessings through the
yes.
stages and phases of life for you and the
Goodness.
family, you and the missus and Uriel. Hey,
Yes.
love is coming through the screen for all of y'all. We celebrate
Mhm.
when a life comes in here because we know that it
That
is here
journey.
for a
Woo.
purpose and a reason. And we
Yes.
know, and we know. We got 5. So
Yes.
that journey of birth and recovery is
Congratulations.
something else. Congratulations. We're in there.
Congratulations.
Those are our standing ovations that are on paper. Or anything that we need to celebrate this week?
Well, and I'm still
Yes.
excited with the newsletter that came
Oh,
out.
let's
So,
celebrate that again.
Yes.
Our newsletter, our Rebirth newsletter has emerged. Those of you who've been celebrating that on band and email, shout out again to Sister Thea.
Yes.
She put together a great newsletter that is informative, that is uplifting, and is keeping us going. I'm sitting there like, we got to get us a magazine or something. We got some things happening in
Yes.
Infinity. So
Yes.
do continue to support Infinity, to be a part. Again, if you are new to Infinity and you go to the welcome slide and you click on that jot form that's in the chat as well, you can also join Infinity. Just check one of the boxes at the end of the welcome form, and we can get you in the new members orientation, and you can feel a lot of this love that you're feeling because this love is real, and we keep it together. All right, Mama. What do we do at this
All
point?
right. So if you shared, guess what? You're going to have several seats while the rest of us, wherever we are going to stand to our feet and give a thunderous standing ovation. Okay? Here we go. We got the wicked one. Those are the announcements and ovations for today. So it is spoken, so it is received, and so it is. Ashe. Congratulations, everybody.
Okay, y'all. If y'all heard one of those wicked licks, whatever, one of those wicked runs, if y'all heard that wicked run, I'm pleased to inform you that that came directly from Kamaria. That was in the background. Kamaria, you want to sing it out so people can hear it? How does it go, Smooch? That, that, and y'all, that is without a microphone from the back of the sanctuary. So just that you know, in case y'all ever talk to my youngest and you ask her to say something, you should never have to say, can you speak up? Because that should be right there. That is a given that she is going to deliver in a timely fashion and a great way. So yes, thank you, Smooch, for giving us that one more belt of celebration. Yes, we needed to release that. Smooch needed to let that out into the world. She needed you all to know that there was just something inside so strong. She was waiting for that opportunity to let that thing out. So those who got that standing ovation there, y'all received that in love. Y'all received that in peace. Y'all received that in honesty and reality. I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath with me. Inhale and exhale. And as we approach this moment, I'm going to invite you to open your spirit. And by opening your spirit, I mean, I want to invite you to embrace the concept of allowing your mind to seek and to think a little bit deeper. And to know that that in itself is a space of consciousness. And from that space of higher consciousness, on third Sundays, we sing an old song to warm us up, to get us ready. And I invite you to sing it with us. It's a song called Come and Go to That Land. And when you go to that land, we tend to think that it is the heaven in the hereafter, but we know, because we study infinity, at infinity rather, we study science, we study philosophy, of course we study religion and spirituality, and there are lines that tie them all together. And just like when we funeralize, we quote a biblical scripture that says absence in the body is presence with the Lord. We also recognize that energy is not created or destroyed. It only changes form. So when we talk about that land, it is the transformation of form, the energy of our minds today. So I invite you to be transformed as we sing a couple of stanzas of a beautiful song. I want you to imagine that energy is rocking and that energy is with you and we are feeling it and we hear it come out. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. I said, come and go with me to that land. Where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Said, come and go with me to that land. Why don't you come and go with me to that land? Where I'm bound, oh, there is love in that land. Oh, there is love in that land. Oh, there is love in that land. Where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Oh, there is love in that land. Said there is love in that land. Oh, there is love in that land. Where I'm bound. Oh, all of my people are in that land. I said that all of my people are in that land. All of my people are in that land. Oh, where I'm bound, where I'm bound. I said that all of my people are in that land. All of my people are in that land. I said that all of my people in that land where I'm bound, there's peace and love. In that land, there is peace and love. In that land, oh, there's peace and love. In that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Oh, peace and love is in that land. There's peace and love in that land. There is peace and love in that land. Oh, where I'm bound. Oh, don't you wanna go to that land? Don't you wanna go to that land? Oh, don't you wanna go to that land? Where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Don't you wanna go to that land? Said, don't you wanna go to that land? Y'all, don't you wanna go to that land where I'm bound? Oh, yes, yes, yes. As we prep today, as we prepare our hearts and minds for this message today, this download today, I'm going to give you just a few principles and give you an opportunity to contribute to the conversation, because it's all about life and it's all about living and it's all about preparing how to walk through this existence that we call life. And so I want to turn to philosopher and writer Elbert Hubbard, who gives us today's simple and yet profound meditation. And it's on your screen, and it says simply, the best way to prepare for life is to begin to live. The best way to prepare for life is to begin to live. Somebody in the chat, I need you to take a deep breath and just type in, begin to live. Turn to somebody you're with and say, begin to live. Begin to live. Begin to live. Begin to live. Today, as I mentioned earlier, I want to recognize the celebration, if you will, of Saint Urho. It's spelled U-R-H-O. I want you to type that in the chat. If it was tomorrow, some of you who might be from Irish descent, or some of you might have an affinity for the color green, or those of you who have an affinity for a dark beer, or some other kind of drinks that you can have on St. Patty's Day. Tomorrow, outside of the Super Bowl, will be one of the biggest drinking days. You have Cinco de Mayo, you have St. Patrick's Day, you have the Super Bowl in America as the largest days of drinking, where people will be out kicking it in the streets. There's also, before St. Patrick's Day, a day that is also got a lot of folks drinking today, especially in the Midwest and some other areas. It's St. Urho's Day. So if you're so kind to send a blessing out, somebody say, Happy St. Urho's Day. If you could say, can you? Happy St. Urho's Day. U-R-H-O. U-R-H-O. That's how you spell it. U-R-H-O. Urho. So somebody greet me, Happy St. Urho Day. Thank you, Urho Day. Sister Denise already got me covered. She's sending this into the universe. To see St. Urho is celebrated on this day, on the 16th, as the patron saint of the finish wine process of the grapes. Saint Urho was a patron saint of the grapes. And just like Saint Patrick, whose day is celebrated by many people around the globe tomorrow, when we talk about the concept of Finland and their Finnish saints, in Finland, this person, in like manner to Saint Patrick, who is said to have driven the snakes out of Ireland, and therefore preserved the country for generations to come. The celebration of Saint Urho as a Finnish saint, it is said that he drove the grasshoppers out. And as a result of driving the grasshoppers out, he saved, amen, the wine harvest. He saved the grapes. And when I said that, somebody around the country, around the globe, wanted to turn a backflip and just say, hey, all praises to Saint Urho. He saved the wine. You know, Jesus turned the water into wine, and then along comes Saint Urho, who protected this wine harvest in Finland from the grasshoppers and drove it out. And this is marked by the colors purple and green. So people are wearing Mardi Gras type colors to celebrate this wonderful story of Saint Urho, who saved the grapes and the wine harvest by driving out the grasshoppers with this almost ethereal magic power. And when we study this concept of Saint Urho, it is most important to recognize that as a Finnish saint from Finland, I want you to know that we're not talking about the country Finland. We're talking about Finland, Minnesota, a small town in the Midwest. And if you want to know why you haven't heard of Saint Urho, it's because it hadn't gotten to you yet. The reason why it hadn't gotten to you yet is two things. The holiday only began in 1950 or so. So the holiday in itself is only a few decades old. And yet people don their purple and they don their green and they eat their pea soup and they drink their beer today. Not in the country of Finland, because they'd never heard of St. Urho, but in Finland, Minnesota. And now the celebration has spread throughout the Midwest and on up into Ontario as a wonderful annual day to do festivals, to do parades. There's a parade today in several cities celebrating St. Urho. The reason why I say this, the reason why it's important for you to understand the significance of this wonderful holiday is that there was never, ever a Saint Urho to begin with. He was completely made up. So all the parades that are taking place, all the pea soup that is being eaten, it's not based on a legend. It's not based on an amplification of something that happened. But as the story goes, a couple of guys who were of Finnish descent decided that since St. Patrick, who was a human being, who was a real person in history, because the Irish had a day that they could celebrate, they decided they wanted the Finnish and the people who settled in Finland, Minnesota to have a day. So they made up a story about a fictional saint and began to tell it on the day before St. Patrick's Day. And what you know, eventually, people began to say, hey, I don't believe this stuff. It's not true. But they kept celebrating anyway. And eventually people said, well, I don't believe this stuff, but I like that soup. It tastes good. So I'm going to eat that every year. Eventually people said, I don't believe this stuff, but the beer is really good. And I thought the parade was fun. And I'm loving the activities and the festivities. And then it just became, we leave the belief part off and we just say, hey, I'm looking forward to St. Urho's Day every year. And soon it began to spread. And now we're beginning to have major celebrations about something that was completely made up. And so while people are aghast, and you might be aghast at saying, well, you know, Rev, you tricked me into saying St. Urho's Day. Listen, I'm here to tell you that what is dope about the concept of making things up is that we all get an opportunity to do so. What you're looking at right now is the Infinity Fellowship, and that's dope. I mean, it's super dope. And I mean it's super dope in the way that we mean it in hip hop. That means that it's fly. That means that it's awesome. That means that it's good. That means that when I look in the chat and I see Denise, when I look in the chat and I see Johnny, when I look in the chat and I see Chris and I see Andrew and I see Destiny and I see all of these names, some of these handles, I don't know what they mean, but they mean something to you. And what's beautiful about your handle in the virtual reality is nobody gave it to you. You made it up. And because you made it up, people are now talking to you through the handle that you presented to the world. That's dope. I mean, what else is dope? It's dope that you get to watch us on this broadcast in something called Infinity Fellowship, that if you would have tuned in or you would have attempted to find us 11 and a half years ago, there would not have been something for you to find because it had not been made up yet. You see, everything that we have is something that is made up. That's dope. I mean, it is super dope. And the reason why it's dope is three things. And I want you to take note of these things. First thing is that, and I'm going to get my here we go, we're in sync there. The first thing is that everything in creation that we perceive is made up. I put it in quotations for you. Everything in creation we perceive is made up. This is why making things up gives us a boost of dopamine. And it's not the dope I mean, but I mean the real dopamine. The dopamine, which is a receptor that is in our body. It is a neurotransmitter. And dopamine has wonderful benefits. We get it when we accomplish something. We start feeling good about ourselves. It's released when we have pleasurable activities. I won't list every possible pleasurable activity we can have because there are so many of them, but it can be as simple as eating. If you've ever been to a gourmet restaurant and you sat down and it's been a place you've been wanting to try and your expectations were high, you weren't sure how they were going to be satisfied, but you took that first bite and something in you said it was worth the journey and the wait. Sometimes you said, Lord, have mercy. Sometimes you said, this food is so good, it makes you want to smack your mama. Isn't it good how this dopamine hits us and we come up with this phraseology? I think that's dope. I mean, I think it's good that we can instantly experience something that came from effort that pushes us into a space of euphoria. And sometimes when we don't have dopamine going in the right levels, it can be problematic. But one of the things that dopamine gives us is this reward response. So that means that we accomplish something. That's dopamine. Once we finish it, we feel this concept of, yes, I can do this. And what's interesting about dopamine, about making things up, about you creating, see, making things up is also creating. When you create and you experience the work that it takes to get this done, when you find the final result, there is a reward response. And it makes you pat yourself on the back and say, well done, thy good and faithful service. I got up this morning. Pat yourself on the back. I showed up here. Something told me I needed to be in fellowship. I showed up. Pat myself on the back for that. Dopamine response. I shared a standing ovation. I put my gift of offering into the world. I joined in with people around the world to affirm good things that were happening for people. I clapped when something happened. These little bitty things release dopamine into our system because they are an affirmation of the reward response. You get that response, those of you who are creators, when you finish a beautiful poem. You've been struggling with it for a while, but you finish a beautiful poem. And you can look back and say, it is done. For those of you who have worked to try to get a car, and you've gone through the process of saving up, and going through the process of saving and driving and getting your credit score right, and you know that was not an instantaneous process. But because you went through it, you received the dopamine response at the end. Dopamine comes naturally because we are naturally creators, and everything that you see in the world is made up. I want somebody in the chat to type, I'm making it up. 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 Because when you decide that you are going to take your spiritual journey seriously, you're making it up. When you decided that there was not a place for you in traditional spaces anymore, what did you do? You started searching the internet. You started asking like-minded friends. You started reading books that you selected from your bookstore that resonated with you. You started making up a way to connect the spirit. But how about you know? How about you don't? You got to hear this. How about the fact that you weren't just making it up out of fantasy, that curiosity in you, that spark within you, that energy within you was the creator spirit telling you that you deserve to have more. So it was encouraging you to create the path that aligned with your purpose. And that, if you pursue it, is what will make you feel the reward response, because we are born to make things up. Thank y'all, those who put it in there. I'm making it up. I'm making it up. I'm making it up. What will you make up this week that will give you the reward response? Because see, dopamine not only gives you the reward response, but it coordinates the movements of your body. It helps you with things like making sure that you get a good night's sleep and that you have cool and smooth coordinated movements when you're walking through the room, and you can decide whether you're going to walk with confidence or you're going to walk shyly through. This is the power of this dopamine energy. But what happens when you have low dopamine? Well, we know that dopamine gives us feelings of balance, of wellness, of happiness, and euphoria. But sometimes when we go low, it can contribute to things like depression, apathy, lack of motivation. You ever tried to get out the bed and something inside you was just saying, "I'll just stay there 5 minutes more"? And that's okay. It happens with all of us. And then 10 minutes later, something said, "Just 2 more minutes." And then 3 hours later, you say, "Well, I am doing self-care. That's what I'm doing today." But you're not feeling any better. As the time goes on, as hours pass, as days pass, you're not feeling any better. You're caught in a space of depression. And oftentimes when we get into a state of depression, we go out seeking dopamine from external sources. That's when we take on things, alcohol, drugs, intense experiences that we get addicted to. And that's because our addiction levels have shifted now to be attached to an external response or a stimuli. Let me not go too deep into this right now, but I want you to understand why this happens. We talk about this when we're dealing with addiction. See, what happens in addiction, really briefly, is this. You have a substance. Let's just say you try a substance and it gives your dopamine level a spike that is instantaneous. Usually, you put small things in place that help you move up a trajectory so that when you reach a high dopamine level, it is because the reward response has kicked in because you've done the work along the way. I decided I wanted to start a garden. So I went out and I bought some seedlings, step 1. I went out and got some dirt, step 2. I got my family together, I planted them, I wrapped them in a foil, I wrapped them in plastic wrap to make sure that they seeded and they sprouted, step 3. I then transferred them and watched the weather charts to make sure I put them in the ground at the right time, step 4. I then went out and watered them and spaced them accordingly. I may have added coordinating and complementary crops to make sure they grew at step 5, step 6, step 7, step 8. Finally, when you bite into that tomato, Lord have mercy, it don't taste the same. It don't taste the same. You go into the store, you don't want to bite in a tomato anymore. You came back and bought some store-bought tomatoes after you grew some. You said, it just don't taste the same because it didn't have the effort that it had for you personally. And the process gives you the reward. What is dangerous is when we do not commit to the process. Here's what's dope about this. If we don't commit to the process, we end up trying to reach that reward stimulus quicker without doing the work. And so we seek for affirmation. And we seek for support. We seek for a feeling that we get from other places. Let me tell you why this is dangerous really quick. The reason why it's dangerous is if you take a substance that may be legal or illegal and you take it, within minutes, your dopamine levels are out of the roof. You are experiencing euphoria like you've never received or felt. You are experiencing excitement. Your heart rate may be going forward. You may feel as if you can see through the walls. It is happening there. Your dopamine levels are on fleek, and they happen just like that. So instead of the process that took you up slowly, you jump right to the peak of the mountain. Let me tell you about the reverse effects of dopamine, however, though. When you take that gradual move up and get the reward response, it is healthily balanced. After that reward response, there is a period where there's a coming down. Somebody in the chat say, come on down now, come on down now, come on down now. But because it is a slower trajectory, it allows you to walk in balance. When you have a spike trajectory, it gives you an incredible high, but then afterwards it gives you an incredible low in the valley. And so because you've experienced this incredible high unnaturally, what happens is when you try to work on the dopamine response, you can never hit the peak again. So you keep trying more of the substance. That's where addiction comes. Because instead of working on the process piece by piece, you have now learned that you can get there just like that. I need to get there just like that. But then you don't take into account the pain that comes when you hit the bottom and find that it's harder to get up. Because your dopamine levels have been sent all over the roof. And this moment from when you experience a stimuli to getting a peak is something that happens usually once. And so you fill it more and more, that space, with trying to reach that peak quicker and quicker. And you need more of the substance to try to reach that exact same peak. And you never can reach it, so you're chasing forever. However, the lows get lower and lower. So when the dopamine is gone, now you got physical pain in your body. Now you got discomfort. Now nobody want to deal with you because you always got a bad attitude, because you don't have anything in you now that's an external substance that can level you out. So those of you who are dealing in a space like that, whether that is a physical addiction, whether it is a spiritual addiction, because some of us are spiritually addicted. Some people showed up, I'm not speaking it, but some people show up to church and they say, dope me up, Pastor. Dope me up. Give me more fog machines, Pastor. I want to see you fly. I saw one church, man, the pastor came down for the sermon. I used to say on the corner, swear for God. My mama said don't say that. So I ain't going to say that today. But I promise you, I saw this. The pastor came down for the sermon on a rig from the balcony, and he just flying down to the pulpit like this. He just flying down to the pulpit. Woo. And then I think he almost got stuck on the podium, so they had to work him around, and he was having to stay still. Just so that there could be an ooh and ah factor. I went to a gospel concert once, and the person who was being introduced as a pastor was a midnight service, and they got all of the hype going. They had dancers running up and down the aisles, and celebration is cool. Then they hit a beat. They dropped a beat. All this laser show took off all over the arena. It focused on the middle of the floor, and this dude come up through the floor just like this. And everybody in there was going crazy. Dopamine levels were off the chain. And we can often seek spiritual experiences that are not deepening us over the long term, but they're just shooting our dopamine out the roof temporarily. In other words, we're getting high. We're getting high. And every time we show up, it's got to be bigger, stronger, better. Why? Because we can't reach that same peak. So then when the dancers aren't there with the flags, we mad. What happened to the dancers? I'm used to them being here. What happened to the smoke? I used to see the fog. What happened to that laser show? They ain't doing enough. What am I giving my money for? Irate, depressed, angry because you didn't get the dope. And some people will peddle in this dope. But that's not the dope I mean. I'm peddling in the dope, which is understanding that you are here to make things up and to put them in the world. That's exactly what your purpose is. I am here to make it up, and I'm going to make something good. Somebody put make something good in the chat. Put something in the chat. Make something good. And while you're at making it good, make sure that it's excellent. Because I don't want you to experience spiritual dopamine deficiency. And that can happen. The second point that I want to make for you, a deficiency in spiritual dopamine manifests in our lives when we feel that hope, love, joy, and abundance are not meant for us to experience. I know. Some of us have been taught this. We'll put it back on the slide because people want to write. I want to write this down. I want y'all to get this so that you all understand what is happening when you are feeling that things like love, hope, joy, abundance are not meant for you. That somehow you ain't supposed to be happy, that somehow the cards dealt to you are poor hands, and that you are not supposed to experience what other people are experiencing, or you're looking at other people and comparing yourself. Thank you, Smooch. You see, a dopamine deficiency chemically is the same as it is spiritually. You all of a sudden have reduced motivation. You're not as interested in things anymore. You begin to experience fatigue. You begin to be lethargic. You begin to have mood swings and depression. You begin to have sleep that is disturbed. You have reduced libido for you grown-ups. And you also are at a risk for addiction. See, this happens biologically. It happens biochemically in our neurotransmitters in our brains. But what happens when we are in a spiritual space? Have you ever felt tired and you said, listen, I've been trying, Rev, to do this law of attraction thing, but I'm tired. Because the people that I'm around, they always make fun of me because they see me with my chime and my singing bowl, or they see me with my gemstone on, or they see me with my third eye and my Ankh bracelet on, and people make fun of me, and I'm just so tired of trying to find this path because I'm feeling by myself. Do not confuse feelings of isolation. Do not confuse feelings of isolation with depression. Because sometimes it's better to be in alignment by yourself for a short term than it is for you to fill the space with company. What I said about that peak of dopamine, when you're trying to fill yourself temporarily with other things and other nouns, people, places, and things, what happens is you're just trying to get a short-term high. You want something that is going to be sustainable. So when you're operating in a deficient place like that, when you are losing your appetite, that's another dopamine response. When you have low dopamine, you don't want to eat nothing. You don't feel good. You don't feel. Listen, there are times when you feel like you're spiritually on a track and people are talking, and because you haven't seen the immediate fruit, because you haven't gotten to those steps immediately, you're saying to yourself, I'm tired of this. I'm showing up, I'm reading these books, I'm doing these chants, I'm sometimes meditating, but I'm not doing it consistently, but I'm just tired. I'm tired. My alarm went off for me to get up and meditate. I'm just tired. I don't feel like doing it no more. Well, guess what? That's just your inner spirit suffering through a deficiency because you tried for the peak without the process. Go for the process. Sometimes you're not in the process of trying to eat the tomato, the fruit at the end. Sometimes you're in the process of saying, just for today, I'm going to plant a seed. Just for today, I'm going to pull a weed. Just for today, I'm going to cover a crop with a blanket when it needs to be covered. So just for today, I'm going to spend my time in a brief meditation and thinking about what I want to do and who I am and what my purpose is. Just for today, I'm going to take the step to pull away those things that are not working for me. and to ask myself the serious question, what must I do to make a change? Just for today, I'm going to cover my feelings and my emotions and give myself a moment to say everything's going to be all right, and to open myself up to the vibration of saying everything is all right, all is well, it is done, it is working for my good. And then you begin to receive messages from the universe that will affirm just this. Move beyond the spiritual deficiency of dopamine. The last point that I'm going to give you to get you to take home with you is that it is an investment. And investing in your spiritual self will provide a return that will impact infinite generations in the future. Investing in your spiritual self will provide a return that will impact infinite generations in the future. Somebody in the chat say, I'm making an impact. Take a deep breath and say it with me again. I'm making an impact. I'm in an impact. That's what we've got here. That's what we're working on here. We're working on making an impact, not just for today, but for our next generations. Thank you. For our next generations. Because don't they deserve to have what you thought you should have had in your past? Let me say it again. Doesn't the future deserve to have what you thought you should have had in the past? And I want us to think about that, because there's also a balance in that. Because a lot of times we operate in the future. We try to operate thinking about the future, wishing upon them, but we're wishing upon them what the blessings that we want from a negative space. So we say, I don't want my kids to be hungry like I was when I was a kid, so I'm gonna get plenty of food for them. I don't want them to want that prom dress that I wanted so many years ago and I never got. So I am going, I'm just gonna make sure that I go overboard and get them everything light. Thank you. I don't want my kids to have to deal with the esteem issues that I had. So I am going to give them an overinflated sense of ego. See, once again, it cannot be reactionary. How about I want my children to understand the concept of abundance. I want my children to walk in full healing. I want my young people to shine. I want my friends' lives to be made better when I enter the room. I want the workplace to be excited when I show up because of the work that I put in. I want this stage to be transformed when I step onto it, so that they can see the light that is shining within me, which is just a spark of the divine. See how those affirmations are positive and they are not negatively based from a space of lack? We've got to change the way our language goes so that we can move forward. And that is investment. That is the difference between investing and spending. And we've talked about that. We've talked about it this month and last month. Spending is when you're not consciously thinking about anything, but you're wondering why you're broke, because spending results in you being broke, and broker. But investment, even though it comes with a risk, always carries a return. And the long-term investments tend to be better. Plant the seed, put it in the dirt, cover it for moisture till it germinates, move to the point of moving it outside, cover it when the frost comes, pull the weeds, see what comes at the end. See, that's investment, because you have invested in your seed. I want you to invest in yourself. Somebody type, invest in me, invest in me, invest in me. That is a mantra for you to do. Invest in me. Because when you invest in you, you are investing on you being a creator. You are invested on making it up. You've got to get up today. You've got to get out today, and you've got to do what needs to be done for investment. Let's see what happens. Another benefit or another bad effect of dopamine as I close this. If you have questions, comments, or observations, at this point, I'm going to invite you, drop them in the chat. Some of you had a revelation today. Some of you during this message said, you know what, this hit for me. And here's what came to me. I want you to type that in the chat. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. IFTeaches is about everyone teaching as a community as well. So do that. If you go too far with the external dopamine, it serves a purpose. But if you go too far, it can cause things like excessive anxiety, excessive energy. People on a dopamine high, they can't stop. They can't stop talking, can't stop moving, can't stop going, can't stop. Oh my gosh, it's going 100% miles an hour. I got this anxious, my heart is racing, everything is going on. And it's to a point where I can't even go to sleep. I can't get to sleep at night. Oh my God, I can't do anything. And oh my God, I'm seeing things. Things are all over the place. That is an overactive dopamine response. And especially when it has come from something external. So I want you to move that into a space today spiritually. Take a deep breath here. Exhale, let it go. Take another deep breath there. Exhale, let it go. Repeat after me. I am at peace. I am an achiever. I live on purpose. I walk in purpose. I am ready for this world. I am ready to give it what I was born to give it. I'm making it up. And so it is. You say that over and over again, you walk through. That's the dope I mean. It's not just dopamine, it's the dope I mean. And I mean that you are destined for great things. I mean that you have within you the ultimate source of all kinds of dopeness. And that's the God of your acceptance and understanding. That is the ancestors upon whose shoulders you stand. When people talk about the energy of the elders and the remembrance of the love and the nurturing, they could make you feel good, and they made you feel like you were on a natural high sometime. You could go to the elders with your problems. You could go to the people in the community with your problems, and they wrap their arms around you and let you know that you're okay, that you're fine, even in the low places. And that's how you have this stable movement through the world of not being distracted anymore by things that are simply circumstantial and temporary. I'm here for the long term. I'm here for the long haul. Infinite streamers, let me hear you say that. I'm here for the long term. I got a good investment. The payoff is mine. We've worked long enough. You've invested a lot. You've poured into yourself. You've gotten off track sometimes. It's okay. We all have. And yet in this moment, you are reminded of what it feels like when you are reminded to be in alignment. And when you say those mantras, when you say those affirmations, when you operate in a place of recognizing that you are going forward and not backward, it is the recognition of such that places you in a divine present. And when you are in the divine present, you can do all things. I want you to make something up this week. I want you to make up an action that will transform how you feel about your highest self. I want you to take an action that will make someone's life around you better. It may be as simple as you seeing them on a dopamine response where they are all over the place, and you just placing a hand on their shoulder and just looking at them and saying everything is going to be all right. My mama had those hands. My grandmama had those hands. My aunties had those hands. Mother Brunson had those hands. I'll never forget Queen Mother Brunson, who lived to almost 105. I never forget one day I was running through an event and I was trying to get people in order for this performance. And I was walking by Mother Brunson, and I'm 6'2" without my boots on. So I'm standing there. Mother Brunson was all of what, 4'11" maybe. She maybe cracked 5 feet. And I remember she was standing near the way, and I said, "Excuse me," and I felt this little tiny little bony hand on my chest. And usually I don't feel
a lot. It takes a lot to stop my momentum, but she didn't push me. She didn't grab me. She didn't snatch me. But something about that tiny little energy, the hand was so full of energy that I instantly came to a stop. And I was breathing. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, breathe. And I said, ma'am. She said, breathe. And it was as if the breath of life emerged from her hand into my chest, and I instantly felt calm. And she said, you're going to get it done. And that was all I needed in that spark moment, that she made up in her mind, that she saw something happen with me that needed a course correction. And that one moment, I remembered for all of these years later, and I've done it to many people since then because I pass it on. When you're in a point where you need that energy, give it. Place your hand over your heart right now. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Say to yourself, breathe. It's a process, Ashe. And it is a gift that is given to you today. That as you move through this world, as you open this space, that you experience the ultimate dopeness. And that's the dope I mean. It's the energy that you have within you. And when you sit still, it reminds you to not only celebrate, but to go forth and make up something good. So it is spoken, so it is received, and so it is. Amen, and Ashe. So it is. All right. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. I can rock a suit and a Wakanda Forever mug. Hey, we're going to see what we got in here. Sister Tashana, I'm going to read your comment because I see it here. We'll put it up on the screen there. Sister Tashana says, my grandmother Rosie and her grandmother Beatrice have those hands. I have those hands. I wrote a poem in a book, Black Stuff. I don't know if I remember it. So if I don't remember it word for word, then I'm gonna make it up. Because that's what we do. We make it up. I made up the poem. My daddy's hands I used to want for my very own. They were long and withered and strong from the skin down to the bone. When he placed them on my hands, it made my spirit calm. One day I had a little girl and she placed her hand on top of mine. I noticed how small they are, so little, sweet, and fine. And then in that moment, a revelation came to me that the hands my daddy once possessed now belong to me. You see it in the cycle. I always wanted to have the hands that my daddy had. He would hold those hands up and people would get calm. There would be arguments going on. My daddy would do this and people would stop talking. And I said, man, it's the hands. It's the magic in there. I never realized it because I always wanted them. Even when I was growing up, my 30-year-old, when she was born, she must have been 2 years old and she put her hands on top of mine. And I said, oh, wow, whoa. And it hit me. Gosh, I have my daddy's hands. I got my mama's too. But there's something about the return through the DNA. That is why that healing continues generations forward. So I speak for you, Sister Tashana, that those hands serve the same purpose and that they go forward to your children and your children's children because those hands will be remembered. One of the only memories I have of my own big mama on my mama's side is her hands. She had these dark reddish brown hands that looked oddly like mine too. And I remember her touching me and holding me and bringing those biscuits out of the stove down in Seal, Alabama. And so it is. All right, Brother Terrence says, definitely a difficult task, trying to get them to learn what we learned, but unable to replicate the circumstances. You know what? I'm going to take liberty and formulate this into a question, Brother Terrence, because this is something that comes up when we talk about children. And those of you who have children, you know, everybody else, you are supporting somebody's child. Let me tell you, whether it's a niece or a nephew, whether it's some kid that you teach in school, whether it's somebody that's in a class that you teach, or whether it's how you act and how you are when you are in public and people have an opportunity to observe you, we are affecting the next generation actively every single moment of our lives. So the question often comes up in these circles, well, how do we give them grit? How do we give them resilience? Because we learned when I was a kid that if you didn't have money, you went out and you borrowed the lawnmower and you cut grass. You went through the neighborhood and the sewers and you collected the deposit bottles. I got a message on that. And you took them in to get the 10 and the 15 and the 5 and the 25 cents. And you went and bought your now laters with them. You learned that if you had to find a way to get it, you get it. You traveled around through the alleys and you found pieces of bicycles and a chain here and a handlebar there. You went and you borrowed a pair of wire pliers and a monkey wrench. And you and your friends were able to assemble enough bicycles to make sure that there was no child left behind. Oh my goodness gracious. And see, in reflection, we look back and we say, those were hard times where we had to do things like that. But the reality is when our children ask us what makes us successful, it's because if we don't have the bike, we find the parts and put it together. If we don't have the money, we find employment and find a skill that matches a return that we can be compensated for. That's part of what we learn with resilience. And so we think that we, by giving children every single thing, are preparing them. No, we're not. We got to be able to prepare them with balance so that they learn how to be resilient. That is the greatest gift that we can give them. Now listen, don't throw your child outside this afternoon talking about Rev Jeff said, y'all gonna figure out something. And then take him outside and say, come back in here tonight with $100. Don't do that. Don't try to pledge them. Don't put them through all of that. But use some common sense to be okay when you're watching your child struggle with finishing a project or watching your child struggle with figuring out what to do with their time without the devices, figuring out how to focus their energy and sitting still in meditation, focusing on tapping into the divine, having deep conversations so that they are socialized to interact with people as opposed to only being able to interact on this device, which can be crippling to them psychologically without balance. That is how we pass on that resilience to the next generation. And I want us to operate like this going forward. Any child you encounter in your family, anyone that you have going forward, I want you to think like this. How can I prepare them and gift them in a way to exist and to flourish and to walk in abundance when I am no longer in this earth suit? And they are pouring libations on Sunday and calling my name. When we operate like that, we begin to make decisions in a much broader fashion. Tashana says, let them be bored. They'll figure it out. Absolutely. Won't they? Won't they do it? Yes. Go ahead, Lady Kanitha's got a question. If you have a question or a comment, you got about a minute to drop it into the chat, y'all.
And it's not a question. I just wrote just something real quick because I was thinking about that with our own, even with our own personal kids. And I just wrote, I cannot be the universe for my children, which will leave me voided. I have to show them by living, just period. I just have to show them by living myself. Right? Because I think a lot of times, just because of ego and just because of the good that we want to do for our children or for others' children, you know, we always think that we need to be in the place of what God, the universe, is. But they have to know who it is, who that divine essence is for themselves. And the only way that they really get to know is by watching us. We have to be living examples of our true connection to the divine source. They won't understand what it means if we're not living, if we're not following the principles, if we're not going through the process and letting them see the process so then they understand, okay, I'm going to have to go through a process, but it's okay because I'm not alone. I have my own connection to the divine.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's a message right there, y'all. Y'all might have to run that one back. Y'all might have to run that one back. And it is there. Now, Lady Kenitha did not give one person, she did not give one person permission to neglect their kids. I know I'm saying that. I'm speaking for you, and if I'm wrong, correct me. But she is not giving one person the permission to neglect their kids. That means, well, the kids aren't going to eat because I'm going to take myself out for self-care today. And it doesn't matter that there's no food at the house. I'm going to go to the restaurant I like. I'm going to go get everything that I need to get done because I deserve to be happy. If I'm not happy, they're not happy. Well, if the kids are not taken care of first and foremost, then that's selfishness. But they also must look at mama. They must look at daddy. They must look at uncle and auntie. They must look at cousin and say, there's something about them that is balanced. And I want to be like that when I grow up. Can you imagine that? There's been a lot of criticism lately, and I won't be long on this because I appreciate the good comments coming in. There's been a lot of criticism lately of traditional church, and a lot of it is deserved. I left traditional church. I can understand a critique. But a young lady was talking about this concept of not experiencing what the grandmother experienced in church. And now it's just a lot of show. They went to church. They didn't get what they got from their grandmother. So their thesis was that it was in grandma because somehow grandma got it. And grandma's now associated with church. And now that grandma's gone, you can't feel the same things that you're feeling at 25 years old when you go into church that you got when you were sitting next to your grandmama and your grandmama was getting to shouting and she was crying and you have those memories there. And so now, because grandmama's gone, there needs to be some kind of interpretative space. Yes, that's true. I will give you that part of it. But then there's another side of the coin in. And the other side of the coin is, what was your grandmama experiencing when she got to that church at 25 years old? I guarantee you it was more than what you were experiencing. It's what you were experiencing right now. You are going to church with grandmama who's 75, 85, 95. She has experienced things that makes it so that when she shows up at the church, she doesn't really care who's preaching or what the music is. She's there to give thanks for all that she's been through, that she may have been struggling with when she was 25 years old. She may not have even been in the church when she was 25 years old. A lot of grandmamas, Lord, I remember they was in them streets during them years. And then as they got older, a better response to living that worked out for them. So we can't always be comparative. We also have to understand that we get to grandma, we get to big pa, we get to pawpaw, we get to that through a process. And when people say, well, I want to be like them, it's because they modeled and exampled something for us to follow. So when you're walking in the world this week, are you walking as what we've been saying this year, a joyful participant? When you walk in the room, are you lighting it up or are you bringing it down? Because when you're bringing it down, I'm guaranteeing you, baby, that's not something that's going to be sustainable. We want you to lift and light those rooms that you walk in. All right, we've got a couple, Martin and then Christy. Yes, on the screen. Comment recognition. Martin says, I can recognize the spiritual investments from the ancestors. I believe it's difficult to recognize them when we have so many distractions in the way. The distractions equal lack. That's great. That's great. That's great. You ever had an opportunity to sit and look at a sunrise or a sunset? You have an opportunity to watch the planets align? You ever had the opportunity to experience an eclipse? We experienced an eclipse together here in the backyard, right to my left of Infinity. Tons of people sitting on their yard. Most amazing thing we've ever seen. Got dark in the middle of the day. All of the crickets came out. All the birds got quiet. Everything just transformed in 1 minute. I think it was less than 2 minutes, and it was amazing. But the first thing that we had to do was to train ourselves to not try to experience it through our cell phones. And so we suggested, you know what? We're going to put a big camera out here and tape everybody's reaction just so that we can have a record of it. But we want you to just lay back and experience this. And as a result, there was a wave of recognition of the awesomeness of nature that went over everyone like a wave of warm salt water. It's beautiful. It was beautiful because we were not distracted. The first inkling is, ooh, this is pretty. Let me show this to my friend. Oh my gosh, let me care. And then you look up, man, did you see that? No, I missed it. What happened? We see that at a basketball game. You're like, ooh, I gotta let my friend know you down there, and people, ooh, you hear everybody go crazy. You're like, what? What happened? What happened? And the player that you came to see got an alley-oop dunk that's going on Sports Center in high school. And he gonna ask you after the game, hey, you see it? You like, oh man, something else. You missed it. So do not be distracted by the things that are external, because again, what are the external things going to do? They're going to serve as a replacement for the natural dopamine. And you'll be chasing them forever. Tune out the distractions. There's so many good things that are due to come out of you. Yes. I'm going to put an affirmation from Christy up. Christy says, so true, so true. To Brother Terrence's comments, the circumstances may not look the same. However, the lesson learned will be the same. Come on and learn the lesson, be the same. Learn the lesson, be the same. Learn the same. All right, we got one more comment there coming up from Sister Denise. I've learned for myself working on the best me is the proof for my children, especially my adult children. Them seeing the growth in me can nurture them as it nurtures me and even those around you. Absolutely. For those who deal in, sometimes you deal with watching your children struggle. We've had to deal with that. I've had to deal with that. And you deal with your adult children who go through things. And you watch them go through things and it hurts. And there's a point where you have to be there in support. You have to be there in love. And there are other times where you have to say the best way for them to get through this is to watch, as Lady Kenitha said and Sister Denise affirmed, is watch how I deal with circumstances and situations. When people are angry and have a bad attitude, do they see me match their frequency vibration, or do they see me calm the circumstance and situation? When the money is light, do they see me take that out on everybody? Or do they see me say, you know what? I continue to trust the process. I've already planted these seeds. I've invested my energy. The return is coming. There are times in this moment where I feel like I've been on this practice of tithing. And I'm like, I've been doing this. I've been dedicating this 10% of my income in. But this week, I think I want to go somewhere else. I want to break from that. And you got a quick dopamine rush from a quick trip out of town. And so soon it becomes, oh, I like the way I felt about that. Oh, I like that too. And then you look up and instead of the budgetary practice of allotting back where your money for where you get your spiritual food, the energy of money, instead of saying this is part of a spiritual framework that reminds me to stay in alignment as I am tithing and as I am also forgiving, as I am forgiving all the time, I am also walking in divine purpose. As I am walking in divine purpose, I'm also scheduling time for me to exercise, for me to meditate, and for me to work on my divine purpose, and for me to make things up that I agreed that I was going to make things up on, because when I came into this earthly existence, I put an agreement in place with the universe that said, I am coming down through this portal to make a difference, and I'm going to remember this. And the reason why I might be feeling low is because I've forgotten that I am here for a purpose and a reason. So I'm seeking something external. So when you got off that practice, you realized that you weren't tending to your investment, because if you just trust the process, from planting the seed through watering to covering, when you process that, you see the fruit. And those of you who have seen the fruit and seen the proof, you know that as you walk, as you move through the world, those around you and those behind you, those coming up under you and with you, they will see and they will note and they will be given the template for being successful and living their dreams too. There are plenty of motivations. You want to motivate. I want us to motivate today by pouring into each other and saying, listen, live your dreams. Why? Because it's worked out for me. I don't want you to experience the motivation that other people have gotten. Some people have gotten motivation from someone who has been broken, someone who has been hurt, someone who made themselves sick by sitting in despair day after day. And as a result, they watch their dreams appear in their life and then go over their head and move into the prison of their past. And they look at you and they say, please don't do what I did. Don't waste your life, baby, because I wasted mine. Sometimes that can motivate people. And if you've ever had somebody look in your face and tell you that, as I have in my life, you know that that can motivate you to not live in a way that makes you have to walk with regret. Leave it on the table. Somebody in the chat said, leave it on the table. Leave it on the table. That's all life is. I'm going to leave it on the table. I'm going to try it. I might get good at it. Maybe so. But I'm not going to let it happen. I'm not going to lose an opportunity because I didn't try for it. I'm not going to lose an opportunity to write something because I never put a pen to paper. I'm not going to miss an opportunity to watch what the universe is blessing me for the ideas and the creative things that are inside me. I'm not going to miss an opportunity to manifest that because somehow I think I'm scared or I'm worried or how are people going to think about it? It doesn't matter. You're not here with an agreement that you made with people. You're here with an agreement that you made with the God of your acceptance and understanding. That's why you got here. That's why you went through a process that seemed to be random. But out of all of the cells that it took to combine in a moment to produce you from the womb, you think that's an accident? It's not. There are billions of people who have never got the chance to be born, and you did. And you hearing me, and you listening to me, and you're typing in the chat. Look at all those superpowers you got operating right now. Look at all of those senses that you can tap into. Even if you're reading the subtitles for this broadcast, you know that you are gifted here. So I want you to embrace that gift today. I want you to embrace this gift of something that is super, super dope. I mean, it is super, super powerful. I mean, it is the gift of the spark of divinity that is in you, that is the divine source getting to know itself through these various things that we call us, me and you. Today's the time to embrace it. Today's the time to walk in it. Today's the time to know it. So, as we get ready to close out today, y'all, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the questions and comments. Brother Rick Griffin says, back at the hospital, letting Randy listen to you. Randy, my brother, we know that you're a walking miracle. You're not going to let anybody tell you anything otherwise. We reject anything else other than healing. And I mean phenomenal healing. I mean healing the likes of which that are going to mystify doctors, and tears are going to flow in gratitude from everybody that encounters you from this point going forward, brother. You've been through the fire, you've been tested, and the only thing it did was burn out the impurities. You're pure gold standing before us right now. And so I speak and proclaim in your life as a special prayer of affirmation that all the things that you desire in your life are here right now, that you are on the upward trajectory, and that's the kind of dope that I'm talking about. That God is dope. That family and friends surround you, and those of you who are in that place under the sound of my voice, that you know that the healing is here and it is real and it is done. That's what we're doing. We're leaving it on the table. So I invite you in this moment to take a deep breath with me as we perm our way out of this. I want to speak of a few blessings over your life right now. Take a deep inhale and an exhale. Good. Let's just let it sit in today, the thoughts that we've had. Let it sit in our spirits, the reminder that we are moving forward. Let it sit in our hearts, the reminder that we have everything that we need, that all needs are met, and that we may have forgotten why we're here. We may have forgotten what our process is for realizing what works. But in this moment, we remember it and we know it all. And so, divine source, in this moment, I speak an affirmation over what you have downloaded today to the people. I speak a confirmation of the energy of dopamine the energy of reward, the energy of balance, the energy of knowing that every single circumstance that appears is a moment for us to learn a lesson, a moment for us to embrace an opportunity to see how it is making us grow. And in this moment, for those who are out there accepting the task of making it up, we're going to make up something big. We're going to make a mark that changes the nature of reality as we know it. We exist in a time that needs the change. We exist in a time where people want to rest on a notion that hatred is reigning and is ordering the day. It's not. That bad politics is going to take over and wreck our existence. It's not. That individuals with hate and hypocrisy in their heart are going to lord over us. They're not. Because you supersede all of this. Those of us who are here through these times were born for this moment. We embrace this moment to leave it all on the table. We embrace this moment to choose love over hate. We embrace this moment to choose the positive over the negative. We embrace this moment to embrace strength instead of weakness. We embrace the honor of knowing that we are here as your representative to be a difference. That we are here as beings of love. That we are here as beings of power. Grant us this continual understanding. Walk with us and keep us in peace from this moment going forward. Place our hands over our hearts. Inhale and exhale. We seal these things and we remember this moment of peacefulness. We remember that you dope. And you the dope. You the dope that I mean. We embrace these things and know these things to be true and walk forth in balance. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Hotep. Shalom. Namaste. Ashe. Rub those hands together. Generate that light energy. And on the count of 3, we're going to send this dope out into the universe. This energy of love. 1, 2, 3. Yes, for what we receive and what we get, we always want it for others. We want everybody to operate in the same space of alignment and joy and happiness. There's enough for everybody. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. All right, as we prepare to go on out of here and get into the world that awaits our light, I want to send a special thanks as we begin our song for today. You can sing it along with us, but I'm going to invite you to do something super dope. I'm going to invite you to go to the chat box now, and for the rest of this broadcast, till we close the last slide, I want you to type something good about somebody you see in the chat. Pick somebody you don't know. This is great. This is a moment where we share that love. This is where we say, I'm going to pour into somebody what I would want poured into myself. Tell somebody how dope they are. Tell somebody to leave it on the table. Use some of these themes that the download came revealed to us. Share it with somebody. I dare you. I challenge you. I invite you. I order you. Let us sing our song together. It's on the screen. If today's a brighter day and we are on our way, then we can begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's a day. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. All right, we know it now. Let me hear you. Where you at around the world? Grab somebody's hand. If today's a brighter day and we are on our way, then we can begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's a day. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. God's reminding me, God's reminding me to look at you and see family. God keeps reminding me, God's reminding me to look at you and see family. We speak that the love of God, the wisdom of the ancestors, and the infinite and abundant power of the universe rest, rule, and abide with us henceforth, now, and forevermore. Let us say together. Amen, amen. Hotel Shalom, Namaste, Ashe. On behalf of the entire Infinity Fellowship family, as we get on out of here, we love it. We see you lighting up the Infinite live stream, just throwing all that love on people. Man, it's got to feel good. Keep throwing it on people. This has been Reverend Jeff Obafemi-Carr, a.k.a. Reverend Jeff, on behalf of Lady Kenitha, on the entire tech staff. We thank you, and we invite you to join us next week for Yoga Sunday, and the Sunday after for a special Fifth Sunday Fireside Chat. We love you. That's a fact you cannot change. See you soon.